Good morning. I'm Miklos Braun, the founder and managing director of the company F12. And I will talk about our enterprise front-end development that we built with Blockly. So after a very short introduction, a few words about the history of the product, then what results we achieved with it, and how we are using Blockly in it. So first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a real privilege being here at Google and having the opportunity to meet the people behind this magnificent tool, Blockly. So we are not exactly a startup. We've been around for more than 20 years and based in Budapest, Hungary, somewhere in Europe. And our products are being used throughout the world in many countries, mostly by financial institutions. So regarding the front-end solution, we had an old solution that we built for OTP Bank Hungary originally, and that was already implementing a type of abstract coding that was represented by a flow, which was used by our in-house built flow editor. And this was in use for many years, and many hundred screens, transaction screens were built with it. But then eventually it became outdated, and there was the time to modernize it. So we were looking for the alternative technologies. And it was also at that time when then 8-year-old son of mine, I was looking for the best tool for him to teach coding, and I found Scratch, the ultimate platform, I believe, for that, which is really great. And shortly after, I discovered the Blockly project. And it clicked together in my head immediately. That's great. That's what we need to use in our next platform. So honestly, there were some concerns. So there were opinions that Blockly is a great education tool, but it's not been designed for large-scale real developments, as so-called. Which opinion I myself didn't share at all. Still, decision had to be made. And it describes our situation at the time very well. So we had really one chance to make it right. And I decided on the do option. So fast forward to the present, it's turned out that the solution can handle large projects very well, and in fact it improves productivity significantly compared to classical coding. And here is our current situation. We have 3 very significant enterprise clients who are using it daily, very successfully. OTP Bank Hungary is the largest bank in Hungary, and it's also a regional player, and actually it is one of the most successful banks in whole Europe. Hungarian Telecom is the largest telecom company in Hungary, and again, hundreds of screens and users and everything. It's a subsidiary of Deutsche Telekom, by the way. And eventually we had the opportunity to participate in the creation of the Hungarian government portal, which is a central portal that was built at the time, and it is providing thousands of services to all citizens, and our solution is serving as an internet front end in it. So I put together a very short little video to give you an impression about these clients and what do we do with them. Okay, so this was it. And now let's jump into the details how we built it up from scratch, if you like. Uh, so we knew that Blockly is great for server client-side coding, so the JavaScript code editor will be Blockly in the new implementation. But we did need a lot of other editors. So we did need a layout editor, something for test scripts and data mapping on the server side and accessing backend services. So classically, these are very complex tools and products by themselves, like App Inventor, and I just found various examples for those clients, and building such a thing is quite a work, and maintaining it or pulling in a third party has its own problems. So it's another quote from myself. Why can't we really use Blockly for all this? And actually we found we can, and that's what we did. So we didn't create a layout editor, instead we created a block set, and we are putting together the layout from layout blocks, which representing various elements on the HTML, and it is not generating a code, but a HTML document. And correspondingly, on the client side, the JavaScript obviously is done with the corresponding blocks, but there are references to the layout items, which can be easily created this way. And on the server side, we put together all these requirements, and eventually just made a full-featured server-side programming logic. And those special features that we need are represented with quite complex blocks, like the SOAP access, REST access, and we have a form reference block, and any complex logic obviously can be put together with this approach. And once we got that far, we found that even the test scripts can be represented by Blockly, by blocks. So we made a toolbox of test items like test case and test steps and expected values. And again, the references to the form items is right there. And it also can reference even to the session data and user members, group memberships, and other stuff. Additionally, we even created, it was a necessity sometimes to give the opportunity for other systems to call into our services. So whatever is served by serving a screen can be reused for another service, and adding a few blocks to the function definition. Swagger or OpenAPI definition is generated, which can be exported, given to any external any other department, who has then a standard definition of a web service endpoint. So eventually, we covered all our editor needs with Blockly without writing a single editor. We did run into one problem though, which had to be addressed. Performance. So if you put a lot of blocks on a single workspace, then it cannot handle that. So it was not a new problem, but it's something we really had to address, otherwise the whole project would fail. And one thing we had to do is multi-workspace editing. So that means that multiple workspaces can work together and generate a single code. It also means that reference any function or variable declared on one workspace can be referenced from the other. So they must work together nicely, and also a lazy loading option we created. So when we open a page and there are hundreds of workspaces or dozens of workspaces willing to it, it's only loading what actually needs to be edited. And we are storing meta values in order to be able to do that. Give you a real-life example. This is one of the most complex pages, but it uses almost 20,000 blocks, which I know it sounds insane, but that's what is required for this to be implemented. So once it's split that into smaller sections, then it is no problem to handle that fluently. Search and code validity check. We have a flexible and customizable validity checking and search throughout the workspaces. It also needs to support the multiple workspace. And we added one other cool feature is the diff. So if you are a developer, you also always need previous versions and look at what you have done. So there is such a option in our environment. You can call up any previous history item and make comparison. Deleted and newly inserted or changes are items or changes are highlighted, and it can be even copied from one workspace from the old to the new one. So then all we had to do is to put together. Obviously, I'm short in time, so I skipped a lot of things, but this is what is locally related. We put together all these things, have a central repository manager where we have all sorts of assets on the left side and the corresponding items on the right side. And that's how we open the corresponding editors. And that's is in the nutshell. Finally, in production, we have more than 200 pages, processing over 200 million transactions per year in mission-critical environments. So that is it. Thank you. Maybe we have a time for...
Microphone 3 could be this side of the room, and microphone 4 could be that side. Okay.
Hello. Thank you for that. That was great. And I was wondering that how the debugging the program, because lots of code and it's how to find the bug.
How to find the bug? Yeah. So we have the bug finder option. You just press the button.
I take that home.
If that's not enough, then there is testing, obviously. So it has the life cycle of a normal development process otherwise. But it's really, many things can be found by this error detection method that we are using. And on the top of that, the rest is found by the clients.
So I have a question about how you implemented the diffing feature. Are you doing that based on like the Blockly event system, or are you comparing directly the XML and or JSON representations? And if this is a deeper question, I can also talk to you afterwards too.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. So it's not a diff like a text diff, because Blockly gives us the option to have a unique identifier for each block, and that's what we are using. So we are detecting whether those blocks are there or not, and if there is any changes within that particular block. So that's how we do it. It works on the workspace version. So it's not the XML or JSON, it's the workspace. Okay, thank you very much.